Hello everyone, I'm Mrchrisalf2004. Welcome to another edition of my video blog. Today in front of the Olympic rings on display in the Cardiff Civic Centre. Some Olympic football matches will be held here during the games, but I'll be previewing the games in a future video blog. The torch relay will be here next week, so I'll be showing you footage from that. But in the meantime, let's look at some of my footage from my trip to Manchester that I went on last year.
Manchester Road is our next station call.
This is an Altrincham service. The next stop will be St Peter's Square.
as I said earlier, some of the football matches for the Olympics are going to be held behind me in Cardiff's Millennium Stadium. I've got a ticket for the bronze medal match, so I'm hoping that Team GB will be in that rather than in the final. But I'll mention a bit more about that in a future video. Anyway, that's not the biggest football tournament to happen in 2012, because Euro 2012 will also be happening. So who do I think will win that tournament? Well, let's find out. Okay, this is how I think Euro 2012 will work out. I think the Group A winners will be Russia, with the Czech Republic being the runners-up. Germany will win Group B, with the Netherlands being second. That's the group of death, of course. I think Denmark and Portugal are not going through. Spain and Italy will get out of Group C, and then France and England will reign supreme in Group D. That's going to set up the following quarter-finals: Russia, Netherlands, Germany, Czech Republic, Spain, England, and France, Italy. And the consequence of those matches will be the semi-finals between the Netherlands and Spain, and Germany versus Italy. And I think you're bound to know where this is going. The final, I predict, will be Spain and Italy. And inevitably, who's going to win? Well, it's going to be Spain again. I might be wrong, but judging by their form at the moment, I think it's very likely to end up this way. And those football fans who are going to be collecting the Euro 2012 Panini stickers, do remember that you can complete your collections by visiting the Kaz Stuck On You online shop on ebay.net, where my sister Caroline will be having some the Pete's and other such stickers and collector cards for other series actually available for you to buy. So that's kazstuckonyou.ebay.net, and there are dashes between the Kaz Stuck the On and the U, but you'll know that from the address on the screen, so do pop along and complete your collection. I have been seriously irritated in recent years by the failure of Cardiff University to take disciplinary action against both staff and students who have written abuse about me on social networking sites like Twitter and Facebook. 2 months ago, I found some abuse written about me on the Facebook page of 2 academic staff members in the School of Physics and Astronomy, but I'm still waiting for academic registry to take action against them. They have promised action, but I've yet to hear anything. And then yesterday, the day before I obviously started to film this blog, I found that a student was passing lies about me around Twitter, and I got in contact with the people who communicated with them, who said, no, we believe your lies, sorry to hear about what you have suffered, and all that. So that really frustrated me, and I said to them, look, I'm not happy with what you've said. No, they sort of added to the abuse. They took at face value the claims of this person, and they corresponded back to me saying that they had not said anything offensive about me. Well, it's for me to say if they offended me or not. So very, very irritating that people are not willing to take responsibility for abuse they have written online. And we got the police station just over to the side of where I'm sitting, and I know that it's like tossing a coin as to whether the police officer who you report them to will take action or not. Some say, oh yes, we'll take it seriously. Others say, oh, nothing we can do, but it's on the internet. Because with me having Asperger's syndrome and other people with Asperger's syndrome suffering similar abuse, and it really is a disability hate crime, but it seems that it's something that will go on for a very long time, with the authorities being slow to take action. Now, I'm aware that I've got quite a few viewers who have Asperger's syndrome, so allow me to take a few minutes to recommend some books that I have found helpful, that people with Asperger's syndrome might find helpful too. All the stuff you saw a few moments ago I recorded on Saturday just gone, but it's now Monday, the day that I'm hopefully going to be uploading this video. It's quite a bit of a hassle these days to upload such large videos. Right, on with this section, which is the books that I'm recommending for fellow people with Asperger's syndrome, and it is specifically Asperger's syndrome, not autism that we're talking about, but some of these books might be useful for those of you who have autism and other conditions on the spectrum. Well, first of all, you'll want a brief overview as to what autism and Asperger's syndrome are. And of course, Simon Baron Cohen is recognised around the world as being a big source of understanding as to what is in the United Kingdom and around the world. So here's one book written by him, Autism and Asperger's Syndrome, obviously by Simon Baron Cohen. These are basic facts. I found this to be interesting. It talks about, as is the case with one of his recent books, 0 Degrees of Empathy, which I plan to buy sometime soon. This talks about things like executive dysfunction theory and the general psychology and biology of autism and Asperger's syndrome. A few diagrams in here showing the brain, and talks about the prefrontal lobe and how that might be the key behind the problems that people on the spectrum experience. When I was diagnosed, the first book I purchased was this one by another well-known advocate of Asperger's syndrome, the Australian-born Tony Attwood, simply called Asperger's syndrome. He's done a similar book to this, a more comprehensive book. I think it's called The A to Z of Asperger's syndrome, or All You Need to Know About Asperger's syndrome, something like that. But it's a much thicker book than this. It goes into more details. But I haven't purchased that myself, because it covers a lot of what is in this book here, which I have recommended to someone else who I know, who already has been recommended this. Actually, it's the Asperger's Answer book. This is by Susan Ashley. This is largely American. It talks about what your rights are if you're a sufferer in America, but in America I'm going to recommend a book that for those of you in Britain it's more relevant. And that brings me on to the fact that before I started recording this section, I realised from Wikipedia there are some parts of the world which are not able to watch me on Blogger, where I'm going to be posting a copy of this video. So it's good that this is available on YouTube for those countries. I hope that those countries are able to see us on YouTube, but those countries are Cuba, Fiji, Iran, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Myanmar/Burma, Pakistan, China, Syria and Turkey. Well, I hope that you people are able to see me on YouTube, but as it's all in the same family as Blogger, it would surprise me if you cannot see my video. But I don't know if those countries recognise autism and Asperger's syndrome as conditions anyway, although France, obviously in Europe, apparently has been ill-treating people with autism and Asperger's in recent times. So if you have got autism or Asperger's syndrome in Cuba or Kyrgyzstan, then you're likely to be treated no better than if you were in France. Right, getting back to the books I'm recommending, well, obviously dating is a big problem for people with Asperger's syndrome. It largely affects the male population. Here's a book which I haven't got around to reading. I got this in a bookshop closing down sale. Asperger Meets Girl. This is a boy, Jonathan Griffiths, who talks about his experiences with dating ladies. This is published by Jessica Kingsley Publishers in London. Quite a lot of the books for autism and Asperger's syndrome are published by them. And there's another one which is a similar book. This is written by two people, a boy and a girl, who are on the spectrum. That must be a difficult relationship, but I understand that ladies on the autism spectrum can be a bit violent. But this is a Autistic's Guide to Dating, and that's by Amelia Murray Ramey and her husband Jodie John Ramey. So talk about how they met, how they got married, and what their opinions are about sex. I've got a book here about sex. No, not one of those books. It's a religious book that talks about whether or not it's acceptable or not, but clearly we're not talking about religion here, so I'll not mention that for you. Regulars to my program series will know that I had some difficulty with the School of Physics and Astronomy in Cardiff University. They don't acknowledge that I have Asperger's syndrome to begin with. It really irritates me that they didn't read this book written by the National Autistic Society in Britain, supporting students with Asperger's syndrome in higher education. If Cardiff University had read this, then perhaps I would have had a much better time, and indeed you'll know that I'm pursuing an ongoing complaint against the university. They've been running away from complaints I've been making against them. I say that they discriminate against me. Even to this day, I continue to receive abuse from individuals associated with the Cardiff School of Physics and Astronomy, and indeed this book written by James Graham, Autism, Discrimination and the Law, is very helpful, not only for British people who have suffered discrimination, but I believe that there is a section in here to do with the needs of the American sufferers as well. So that's 7 books actually. I found them very useful, and I hope that you will find them useful too. It says on the park bench I'm sitting on, it says, it's in memorial, and it says, "You will always be remembered." Well, that would be quite nice if I am always to be remembered. Hey, I've ended up now in a part of Cardiff that I've never previously been in my search for peace and quiet from the members of the public. But I hope you will join for more videos over the next few days, weeks and months. Until next time, it's bye for now. Bye bye.
Those are the words of Chris Williams from Pembroke Dock in Wales, the United Kingdom. Well, Chris, you're certainly entitled to your opinions. We appreciate your note. And so that's Chris Williams. From Chris, and he certainly didn't pull any punches.